got a contribution request. Oh, I make the motion to accept the resignation of Officer Matt Berlew. I need a second.
I'll second it.
Discussion. Have anything to add to that, Chief?
Just that I'll be asking the board to backfill that position. Unfortunately, Officer Baloo resigned October 13th, and I'll be looking to refill that vacant position.
Matt Berlew was a young man in our community, grew up here. He's a very nice young gentleman. I wish him the best in his future endeavors. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. There's a contribution request from DKG here, Seneca County Literacy Committee. As a community service project, the members of Beta Delta chapter of Delta Kappa Gamma International, an honorary society of key woman educators, regularly attend to the red bookshelves at SPCC-WIC, the House of Concern, and CAP. Clients are encouraged to take a book to read at home with their child, or other readers can select their own book. The impact of early reading to children greatly improves school readiness and encourages family bonding with school-aged students. Reading during the summer months helps to curb the summer slide, where students can lose much of what they learned in the previous school year. This summer, our supply of board books for the babies and toddlers is at an all-time low. Any support for our ongoing literacy project would be greatly appreciated. Locally, suitable board books can be easily purchased at the local dollar stores for $1 each. Having worked on this project for many, many years, I cannot begin to tell you the joy I see when babies are shown a new book, even if it's upside down, and a 2 or 3 year old waves goodbye clutching their new book. Priceless. Thank you for the consideration. Fondly, Dee Olufsen, that's her last name. Olufsen, Seneca County Literacy Committee, 30-plus year member, TKG. Does anyone have a suggestion for a donation?
$500.
$500? There's a suggestion for $500. You want to put that into the form of a motion?
Make a motion that we donate $500.
Motion made. We need a second.
I'll second it.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Can I make up on my contribution? We had an email from Wonderful Life of board members with a breakdown for the $5,000. You can bring that up at the budget.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
I know we like to have a breakdown. It was nice that they sort of broke down everything they needed, of course. Okay.
Again, this can be tabled for a month also, and until you review it, but it's a recommendation that we hire a network administrator, offer civil service classification as competitive, employment status full-time, because we sometimes need a person here immediately to fix our IT problems, and we figured we pay about as much as we're contracting out to do that each year. So I would make a motion to table this and to discuss it at the budget hearing. Okay?
Okay.
I will second that.
Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. J, Engineering Services Proposal, Restore New York Communities Initiative Grant Application. Pete, you want to discuss this a little bit?
Yes, we were, the council approached, a month ago, with the Hall of Fame. They wanted, interested in applying for second round of Restore New York grant. They originally got a grant in 2008. Money the funds are seeking would address kind of phase two of the upgrade of the Hall of Fame. Help with the completion or restoration of the stack outside the building, which is part of the current project, and also for completion of the interior. Right now, I think the current work is for the first floor. We're looking for money to complete the, I think, floors 2 to 5. What this would be is at that clear, it's a 1090 match, and we, in order to get the funds, the town has to complete the grant application. It's my understanding that the Hall of Fame would be basically getting their own funding, seeking their own funding, so they would really be a commitment. I think the town has previously committed quite a bit of money to the project. So really, this is really for preparation of the grant. We did the first part of the grant application. There was just kind of a letter of intent. We did already submit the letter of intent in October to the agency, and the final grant's going to be due on December 15th. So there's a lot of legwork with it.
On what date?
December 15th is the actual grant due date. There's a lot of legwork with it. There's a lot of work that, with the Hall of Fame, certainly they take a lot of that upon themselves. So basically, this is just really kind of helping out with that process. Again, it's a town grant. It's town that Seneca is the official applicant for this. So I think with that, there's Sharon Law, our grant lawyer, has approached. We're going to kind of have some kickoff meetings with the Hall of Fame and the town board to discuss the process and what's going on. So there's a lot of kind of communal effort. There's work that we can do. There's certainly work that the town is needing to do, and the Hall of Fame is going to do as well.
We talking money-wise?
Well, the grant that I think they're looking for is upward to $5 million. I don't know if they're actually gonna, I'm not sure what the final project is. We're kind of working with them right now to kind of refine the project. I think they when they did their letter of intent, they put in, I think what they thought was really gonna be the maximum amount. I'm not sure if it's necessary if the final project's gonna be a $5 million project. But, as far as that match, it's really a match they're seeking with, kind of their own resources, finding contributions, and from, they do a lot of fundraising effort on the side.
So they'd be looking for just one figure from us?
My understanding is that needs to be worked out, but we certainly would have to, that's, I think, part of the initial discussion, what they seek from the town, beyond, if anything, just certainly submission of grant.
They have to be with their 2018 budget.
Well, this work, as far as the grant application, I'm not sure when that would happen, because phase one, they haven't constructed phase one yet. I mean, it's really gonna be 2018 construction. So I'm not sure when there really isn't a design project yet, from my understanding. So I'm not sure if we're looking at probably 2018 construction. My guess is probably 2019 construction. And I don't know that, again, David, they're even looking for a contribution from the town, short of, providing, putting the grant application together.
Thank you.
David, before I make a motion, would you be willing to be the go-between when Sharon Lewis sets up the meeting and go to that meeting? And I hate to put you on the spot, Mr. Avery, would you mind going to that meeting with Doug if we could get you that information? So you can get your feet wet, so to speak?
Yeah, Sharon's provided a couple of dates. I'll send you those, potential dates on that.
Okay, so the authorization would be, I make a motion, the Barton Little Judas is hereby authorized by the town of Seneca Falls to proceed with the task described in this memo in accordance with the terms and conditions described herein and attached. Second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. I'll sign that now. we'll go back to water and sewer credits in a minute. I make a motion to pay the bills.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Under water and sewer credits, I have one more that I would put on that motion for water and sewer credit. Yeah, I want to discuss this.
No,
Board on that ship.
Prior to my being on the board, apparently there was a customer who reported a usage of water which was exorbitant for what their normal usage was. From my understanding, speaking with, and getting the background to the water and sewer portion of this, is that somebody did go down from our department to check this out. There was a determination made that 1/2 of the amount should be reimbursed. There is a policy that we have that upon an investigation, the town may in fact make a determination on a one-time basis. They made that determination, and again, this is before I was on board, that they credit the account for 1/2. The amount is high, and for any of you who've ever had a water leak, you realize it doesn't take very long for the amount to really wind the meter. And as a result, I believe the total amount was something like $3,000. And there was a determination made to pay half of it. The people came back in when they finally got that information and said, the way this went down is that a member went out, checked it, they thought that it was something less than what it actually was. At this point, the determination is that really, if we were going to cover, we really should have covered the whole thing because it really wasn't properly detected. If that's the case, it would be somewhat unfair to expect somebody to go from a standard water bill to almost what looks like $3,000. And if we cut it in half, they'd still be paying $1,500. Obviously, they reported it. They brought it to our attention. We looked at it. There is a rule that once we give a credit, that a second credit will not be given. So this is not asking for a second credit. It's a request to amend the first credit to the full amount, which it appears to me probably should have been done in the first place. So what they're trying to do is simply go back and clear this account out and just say, this is your one-time credit. We detected what it is. It's apparently been corrected. But for the sake of argument, half of that money is not really the use of water. I assume half of that is going to be part of the sewer bill. So really what it comes down to is the taxpayer, the water consumer, has like a $3,000 bill that they can't afford. It was changed, I guess, to $1,500, and they're not able to really pay that. It comes as a complete surprise. And in terms of actual water used, I assume, I don't know what it comes to in gallons, but 15, if 15 was half of it, what the other 1,500 amounted to, I don't know how much of the sewer is on that. I suppose it can be computed, but under the circumstances, what I learned was that there was a recommendation that this simply be resolved by way of a credit. Sometimes these things happen. The only alternative is to do nothing. If we do absolutely nothing, that amount, whatever remains, will be put on the person's taxes and have to be paid as part of their tax bill. So to alleviate the situation, and again, it appears to be the recommendation that we do this. It was thought best, I recommended that it be done by way of a board approval as opposed to just an adjustment by an internal person in the department. It seems to make sense if it amounts to something that should have been or could have been resolved far sooner and amounted to much less. It appears that in the interest of fairness, we should probably resolve it. And for that reason, this is not, we're not spending this money. It's a question of simply, we're not giving money back to them. It's simply not billing them so it doesn't go on to their taxes. That's what this is about.
Can I ask this, is this part of what Dusty was,
I'd rather not respond to that, that's a personnel memo, personnel issues.
I can tell you this, I did the exit interview on that, and this was not an issue. Is Bev here? No. Bev was present, I was present, there was an exit interview, but this was not an issue that was raised at the exit.
So I make a motion to approve the water and sewer credits.
I'll second it.
Is there any further discussion?
we doing all of them or just separate?
All,
All of them, yeah. You want to batch it by itself?
I'd rather batch it by itself, please.
There's an amendment on the floor to batch it by itself. I have a second for that amendment. Seeing no amendment, then motion fails. We'll go back to the original motion. Make a which is to approve the water and sewer credits.
Second it.
It's nobody's second. Discussion, all in favor? Aye. All opposed?
No.
Show that there's 4 aye votes and 1 no vote. There's no need for an executive session. I move to adjourn. Meeting is adjourned.
very good.
Right.